Welcome back. This is part 3, the last part. And are y'all ready? Hopefully we can get some answers. Okay. Pippa Fitz-Amobi, October 14, 2019. Capstone Project Log Entry number 31. He's innocent. This project is no longer the hopeful conjecture it started as. No longer me indulging my gut instincts because Sal was kind to me when I was small and hurting. No longer Ravi hoping against hope that his brother wasn't a monster. It's real. No shred of maybe, possibly, allegedly left. Sal Singh did not kill Andy Bell, and he did not kill himself. If a villain can be made, then he can be unmade. 2 teenagers were murdered in Fairview 5.5 years ago, and Ravi and I hold the clues to finding the real killer. I went to meet Ravi in the park after school, and we talked for more than 3 hours, well past dusk. He was angry when I told him why Sal's friends took his alibi away. A quiet kind of angry. It's not fair. Nothing about any of this is fair. But Naomi never meant to hurt Sal. It's clear from her face, clear from the way she tiptoed through life since. She acted out of fear, and I could understand that. Ravi does too, though he's not sure he can forgive her. His face fell when I said I didn't know whether the photo was enough for the police to reopen the case. I bluffed to get Max and Naomi to talk. The police might think I doctored the image and refused to apply for a warrant to check Max's profile. Max deleted the photo already, of course. Ravi thinks I'd have more credibility with the police than him, but I'm not so sure. A teenage girl going on about photo angles and a tiny white number on a phone screen, especially when the evidence against Sal is so solid. Not to mention Daniel De Silva on the force shutting me down. The hardest part was when I told him I wanted to protect Naomi. I explained that they are my family, Kara and Naomi, both sisters to me, and Kara is innocent. It would kill me to do this to her, to make her lose her sister after her mom too. I promised Ravi we didn't need Sal to have an alibi to prove his innocence. We just have to find the real killer. He pushed back a little, as I would have expected, so we came to a deal. 3 weeks. 3 more weeks to find the killer or solid evidence against a suspect. If we have nothing after that deadline, Ravi and I will go to the police with a photo and see if they'll take it seriously. So I have just 3 weeks to find the killer, or Naomi's, and Kara's lives get blown apart. Was it wrong of me to ask Ravi to do this, to wait when he's waited so long already? I'm torn between the Wards and the Singhs and what's right. I don't even know what's right anymore. Everything is so muddled. I'm not sure I'm the good girl I once thought I was. I've lost her along the way. And from the persons of interest list, we have now narrowed it down to 5 suspects. I've taken Naomi off the list. My reasons for suspecting her, the MI thing, and her being so awkward when answering questions about Sal have been explained away. I made a diagram to recap all the suspects. Okay, I'm getting ready to show you the diagram. Hopefully you can see it. Auntie, I'll take a picture and I'll mail it to you. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna, I guess I might have to read the diagram. Okay, lied about knowing his buying. Max Hastings. Secret older guy candidate Andy could have ruined his friendship with Sal and company. Has a new photo of Andy taken at the Ivy House Inn. Brought drugs from Andy and regularly brought Renfenol. Girls were getting drinks spiked at calamity parties. Knew about the hit and run. Howie Bowers. Supplied Andy with drugs to sell, possibly sexual relationship. Lived alone, no alibi that night. Andy's car was abandoned on his road, Monroe, and her blood found in the trunk. Knew exact location of Andy's hiding spot for Berna's phone and stash, and they are now gone. Jason Bell was having an affair. Andy knew, and Jason knew she found out. Emotionally abusive to his family. Questioned by the police in a formal interview. Left dinner party for a period of time the night she went missing. Used past tense when talking about Andy in an earlier press conference. Max Hastings may have drugged her at a party. Nat DeSilva. Bullied by Andy, the Crucible blackmail, topless video, and a mysterious third victory Andy had over her. Proven to be violent, punched a girl in college and served time for assault. Left Andy a death threat in her school locker. Claims she has an alibi and was in bed by 11, but could have snuck out later. Brother Daniel DeSilva. Secret older guy candidate, Ivy House Inn. Andy said they had sex when she was 15 and used statutory rape claim to blackmail Nat. Andy could have ruined him by reporting statutory rape or destroying his new marriage. Reported drink spiking by Max made to him and not followed up. Police officer may have had access to Andy's house in searches and could have removed evidence that led to him. Burner phone. Shut down all of Ravi's questions about Sal. Along with the note and text I got, I now have another lead to the killer. The fact that they knew about the hit and run. First up, and most obviously, Max knew about it because he was the one who did it. He could have pretended to threaten himself along with his friends so he could pin Andy's murder on Sal. But as Naomi said, Max has always partied a lot, drinking and taking drugs. He could have let it slip out about the hit and run to someone he knew, like Nat DeSilva or Howie Bowers, or maybe even Andy Bell, who then, in turn, could have told any of the names above. Daniel DeSilva was a working police officer who responded to traffic accidents. Maybe he put two and two together. Or could one of them have been on the same road that night and seen it happen? It's feasible then that any of the five could have learned about the accident and used it to their advantage. But Max remains the strongest option in that respect. I know Max has an alibi for the majority of the Andy disappearance window, but I do not trust him. As long as he intercepted Andy before 12:45 when she was expected to pick her parents up, it's still possible. Or maybe he went to help finish something that Howie started. He said he didn't leave his house, but he didn't really have to be honest with me. I'm in a bit of a catch-22 here. I can't protect Naomi without simultaneously protecting Max, and I think he knows that. Naomi says she hasn't considered him a friend since the accident and the alibi thing, but she was scared and felt like she had to pretend because of this terrible secret they shared. Well, at least she'll be staying away from him now, which is good because I'm almost certain he's dangerous. Another new lead I have is that the killer somehow had access to the phone numbers of Max, Naomi, Millie, and Jake, as well as mine. But this doesn't really narrow it down. Max obviously had them, and Howie could have had access that way. Nat DeSilva probably had all their numbers, especially as she was good friends with Naomi. Daniel could have gotten them through her. Jason Bell may seem like the outlier in this matter, but if he did kill Andy and had her phone, she probably had each of their numbers saved on it. I'm running out of time and I haven't narrowed anything down. I need to try harder because the clock is against me now, and I still need to write my essay. That's the end of chapter 28. Chapter 29. Pip unlocked the front door and Barney bounded down the hall to escort her to the living room. Hello, Pickle, her dad said as she popped her head in. We only just beat you back. I'm about to sort out some dinner for Mom and me. Josh ate at Sam's house. Did you eat at Kara's? Yeah, she said. They'd eaten, but they hadn't talked much. Kara had been quiet all week at school. Pip understood. She didn't really know what to say either. Sorry? Or, I promise I'll fix this. After Max left on Sunday, Kara and Naomi had asked her who she thought the killer was. She didn't tell them anything, just warned Naomi to stay away from Max. She couldn't risk sharing Andy's secret with them in case that came hand in hand with threats from the killer. How was parents' night? Pip asked. Pretty good, her mom said, patting Josh's head. Getting better in science and math, aren't you, Josh? Josh nodded, assembling Lego bricks on the coffee table. Although Miss Speller didn't say you have a proclivity of being the class clown, her dad threw a mock serious face in Josh's direction. I wonder where he gets that from, Pip said, throwing the same face back at him. He chuckled. The sass? Okay, I'm going to get a few hours work done before bed. She stepped back into the hallway and toward the stairs. Okay, sweetie, her mom sighed. You work too hard. There's no such thing, Pip said, waving from the stairs. On the landing, she stopped just outside her bedroom. The door was open slightly, which jarred with Pip's memory of this morning. Josh sprinting down the upstairs hall, squirting 2 bottles of their dad's aftershave, yelling, "Chemical attack!" Pip had made sure to close her door behind her so her room wouldn't forever smell like poor hormone. Or maybe that had been yesterday morning. She hadn't been sleeping well, and the days were sticking to each other. Has someone been in my room? She called downstairs. No, we just got in, her mom replied. Pip went inside and dumped her backpack on the bed. She walked over to her desk and knew, with only half a glance, that something wasn't right. Her laptop was open, the screen tilted back. Pip always closed the lid when she left it for the day. She hit the power button, and as it whirled back to life, she noticed that the neat stack of printouts beside her computer had been fanned out. One had been picked out and placed on top of the pile. It was the photo, the evidence of Sal's alibi, and it wasn't where she left it. Her laptop sang 2 welcome notes and loaded the home screen. It was just as she left it, the Word document with her capstone project in the taskbar beside a minimized Chrome tab. She clicked into her log, which opened on the page below her diagram. Pip gasped. Below her final words, someone had typed, "You need to stop this, Pippa." Over and over and over again, hundreds of times, enough to fill 4 full pages. Pip's heart drummed beneath her skin. She drew her hands away from the keyboard. The killer had been here in her room, touching her things, looking through her research, inside her home. I said it might be close to home, didn't I? She pushed away from the desk and bounded downstairs. Mom, she said, trying to speak normally over the terror in her voice. Did anyone come over to the house today? I don't know. I've been at work all day and went straight to Josh's parents' night. Why? Oh, nothing, Pip said, improvising. I ordered a book and thought it would turn up. Okay. And there was a story going around school today. A couple of people's houses have been broken into. They think they're using people's spare key to get in. Maybe we shouldn't keep ours out until they're caught. Only person who knows about spare key is Robbie. Oh, really? Wait a minute, there could be other people too. Her mom said, looking up at her. Yeah, I guess we shouldn't then. I'll get it, Pip said, trying not to skid as she hurried for the front door. She pulled it open and a blast of night air cooled her burning face. She bent down and peeled back the outside doormat. The key was sitting not in, but just next to its original imprint in the dirt. Pip grabbed it, the icy metal stinging her fingers. She lay under her duvet, arrow straight. There was a scraping sound somewhere in the house. Was someone trying to get inside? Or was it just a tree that scuffled against her parents' window? A thud from the front. Pip jumped. A neighbor's cat door or someone trying to break in. She got out of bed for the 16th time and went to the window. Was someone out there watching her? She waited for a sign of movement, for a ripple of darkness to shift and become a person. Pip let the curtains fall and got back into bed. She shivered watching the clock turn to 3 o'clock and on. The wind howled and rattled her window, and Pip's heart jumped to her throat. She threw the duvet off and tiptoed across the landing to Josh's room. He was sound asleep, his face lit up by his nightlight. Pip crept over to the foot of his bed and climbed under the covers beside him. She lay there, listening to his deep breaths, letting his warmth thaw her. Her eyes crossed as she stared ahead, transfixed by the soft blue light. Josh would be safe if she was here to watch him. That's the end of chapter 29. I don't know. Who the heck was able to get into her house to type up, what was on her computer? I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Chapter 30. Naomi's been a bit jumpy since, Kara said, walking Pip down the hall to her locker. There was still something awkward between them, only just starting to melt around the edges, though they both pretended it wasn't there. Well, she's always been a bit jumpy, but even more now, Kara continued. Yesterday, Dad called her from the other room, and she jumped so hard she threw her phone across the kitchen, completely smashed the screen. Had to send it off this morning to get fixed. Oh, Pip said, opening up her locker and stacking her books inside. Does she need a spare phone? My mom just upgraded and has her old one. Nah, it's fine. She found an old one of hers from years ago. Her SIM card didn't fit, but we found an old pay-as-you-go one with some credit left. Is she okay? Pip said. Don't know, Kara replied. Don't think she's been okay for a while, not since Mom died, really. I always thought there was something more she was struggling with. Pip closed the locker door and followed her. She hoped Kara hadn't noticed the dark circles under her eyes, barely covered by makeup, or the bloodshot veins running through them. Sleep wasn't really an option anymore. Pip had finished a personal essay, read it twice, and deleted it again. It wasn't right. It wasn't her. So now she had to start from scratch with just 2 weeks to go. Her deadline for keeping Naomi and Kara out of everything was ticking down every second. And when she did sleep, there was a dark figure in her dreams, just out of sight, watching her. It'll be okay, Pip said, I promise. Kara gave her hand a squeeze as they turned their separate ways down the corridor. A few doors down from her English classroom, Pip stopped sharply, her shoes squeaking against the floor. Someone was trotting down the hall towards her, someone with pixie-cut white hair and black winged eyes. Nat? Pip said with a small wave. Nat De Silva slowed and stopped just in front of her. She didn't smile and she didn't wave. She barely looked at her. What are you doing in school? Pip asked, noticing Natalie's electronic ankle monitor as a sock cover bulged above her shoes. I forgot all details of my life were suddenly your business, Pipper. Pippa? I don't care. She spat, top lip arching into a sneer. If you must know, for your perverted project, I've officially hit rock bottom. My parents are cutting me off and no one will hire me. I just begged that slug of a principal for my brother's old janitor job. They can't hire violent criminals, apparently. I'm sorry, Pip said. No, you're not. Nat picked up her feet and strolled away, the gust of her departure enough to ruffle Pip's hair. After lunch, Pip returned to her locker to grab her history textbook. She opened the door and a folded piece of printer paper was sitting on top of her books, pushed through the top slit. A flash of cold dread. She looked over both shoulders to check that no one was watching and reached in for the note. This is your final warning, Pippa. Walk away. Okay. She read it only once, folded the page back up, and slipped it under the cover of her textbook. She pulled out the book and walked away down the hall. It was clear. Someone wanted her to know they could get to her at home and at school. They wanted to scare her, and they were succeeding. Tara has chased away sleep the last 3 nights, but if this person was really prepared to hurt her or her family, wouldn't they have done it by now? Pip couldn't walk away from this, from Sal and Ravi, from Cara and Naomi. She was in too deep. There was a killer in Fairview. They'd seen her last capstone project entry, and now they were reacting, which meant that Pip was on the right track somewhere. A warning was all it was. She had to believe that, had to tell herself that when she lay sleepless at night. Even though unknown might be closing in on her, she was also closing in on them. Pip pushed the classroom door open with the spine of her textbook, and it swung forward much harder than she meant. Ouch, Mr. Ward said as it crashed into his elbow. The door bounded back into Pip and she tripped. Dropping her textbook, it landed with a loud whack. Sorry, Mr. Ward, she said. I didn't know you were right there. That's okay, he smiled. I'll interpret it as your eagerness for learning rather than an assassination attempt. Well, we are learning about 1930 Russia. Ah, I see, he said, bending to pick up her book. So it was a practical demonstration. The note slipped out from the cover and glided to the floor. It landed on its crease and came to rest partly open. Pip lunged for the paper, scrunching it up in her hand. Pip? She could see Mr. Ward trying to make eye contact with her, but she stared straight ahead. Pip, are you okay? He asked. Yep, she nodded, flashing a closed-mouth smile. I'm fine. Listen, he said gently, if you're being bullied, the worst thing to do is keep it to yourself. I'm not, she said, turning to him. I'm fine, really. Pip, I'm good, Mr. Ward, she said as the first group of chattering students slipped in the door behind them. She took her textbook from his hand and wandered over to her seat, knowing his eyes were following her. Pips, Connor said, shoving his bag down on the place beside her. Lost you after lunch. And then in a whisper he added, so why are you and Cara acting all weird? You have a fight or something? No, she said, we're all fine. Everything's fine. Pippa Fitz-Amobi, October 19, 2019. Capstone Project Log Entry 33. Nat De Silva has now climbed to the top of the suspect list. She was at school just a few hours before I found the note, and she has a history of putting death threats in lockers. But it's not definite, not at all. I didn't actually see her do it with my own 2 eyes. Could be coincidence, though I hate that word. Almost everyone on the suspect list has a connection with the high school. Both Max Hastings and Nat De Silva went there. Daniel De Silva used to work there as a janitor. Both of Jason Bell's daughters went there. I don't know if Howie Bowers attended. I can't seem to find any information about him. But all these suspects know I go there. Any one of them could have followed me, watched me on Friday morning when I was at my locker with Cara. So maybe it was Nat, or maybe it wasn't. And I've just talked myself back around to square one. Who is the killer? Time is running. Time is running out. I still think Andy's burner phone is the most important lead. If we can find it or the person who has it, then our job is done. The phone is physical, tangible evidence. Exactly what we need if we're going to find a way to bring the police in on this. They might sneer at a printed photo with blurry details, but no one could ignore the secret second phone of the victim. It's possible the burner phone was with Andy when she died and is lost forever with her body, but let's say it wasn't, that she left it at home before she drove away, got intercepted and killed, and then the killer thinks to themselves, oh no, the burner phone could lead to me if the police find it when searching the Bell residence. So they have to go and get it. There are 2 people on my list who I've confirmed knew about the burner phone, Max and Howie. If Daniel De Silva was Secret Older Guy, then surely he knew about it too. Howie in particular knew exactly where it was hidden. What if one of them went to the Bell's house and removed the burner phone after killing Andy before it could be found? I have some more questions for Becca Bell. I don't know if she'll answer them, and this might be a shot in the dark, but I have to try. And that's the end of chapter 30. I'm just going to go straight to the phone that Naomi all of a sudden have. She found an old phone. Could that old phone be Andy's burner phone? Because Cara said her SIM card didn't fit. And of course it wouldn't fit because it's not her burner phone, it's Andy's burner phone. So although she took Naomi off her list, Naomi's back on my list for that particular reason. And Mr. Ward, he's an older guy. I just didn't like the interaction that he had with Pip. So I'm like, could it be Mr. Ward? Okay, but she still getting all of these warnings to stop. I mean, the biggest warning was on her computer in her house. And I'm still thinking it's somebody close to her. If it's not a family member, I'm still stuck on Ravi because the key, he didn't know that before they broke into the Bell's house. But he do now though, don't he? And I'm still convinced when you work closely with somebody trying to figure out something, you there for a reason to get information and possibly throw them off the trail. But only time will tell. So I'm going to see you in the next chapter. Bye for now.